Like what? You're gonna have to be more specific, because here's the problem. I'm a plot bunny chaser. If I find something weird in history, I have to chase it, and then I end up learning everything about that specific point in time. There's no purpose in it! I've resigned myself to that. No purpose. It just gets patched onto whatever ideas I'm thinking about at the time, because I see parallels everywhere. But fine, let's talk about someone, right? Because y'all want some history. Let me give you some good history. Let's talk about Dorothy Forster. Dorothy was the niece of a nobleman. Okay, so not that high up on the peerage scale. No, not that high up. Her brother, Thomas, really the story's about him. Thomas had been a member of parliament for a little bit there, just before the Jacobite Rebellion. Now he really wanted to participate, and they made him a general, not because he had any experience, but because of his particular relationship to a noble house. So he was made a general, and he fucked it up majorly. Okay, let me tell you, his cowardice was recorded by his own folks. Do you understand? If they hadn't lost that battle and all been pulled in as treasonous assholes, then he would have been on the block already. Do you understand? If they'd won, he would have been killed anyway. That's how bad it was. So reportedly, they're getting ready for the battle, right? And he gets a message that the troops are advancing in a way they didn't expect. Oh, shit. We're outnumbered. Ah, fuck. And so what does Thomas do? He very calmly reads the message, begins to look pale in the face, hands the message off to the next higher-ranking person, and then goes to his tent to go to bed. They find him hiding underneath his covers. Not kidding. He ends up losing so badly that he actually has to give up. Like, they give up. They're surrendered, right? And taken into custody. And the two higher-up guys that he ends up fucking over, those guys get executed. He gets a pass. But wait. Because the story of it's a little funny. And we got to talk about Dorothy. All right, we got to talk about Dorothy. So the minute he's arrested, her entire family knows what's up. Ah, shit. Now our heads are on the block. The lady that she's related to, the aunt, right, Lady Crew, starts to break down. She's flipping out. Everybody's freaking the fuck out. There's sobbing, there's wailing, but Dorothy, not so much. Dorothy's calm. Dorothy changes her clothes. She goes down to the local blacksmith. She gets some help. She gets on a horse. It's not exactly how it was done in those days with ladies. You didn't go on horseback. You didn't ride. You got a carriage, or you got, and if you did ride, you didn't ride with both your legs over the horse. You rode side saddle, right? Not her. No, because she's dressed like a man, see. She rides into London with her blacksmith friend. She then proceeds to visit routinely. Now, what you got to know is because Thomas wasn't a nobleman, he wasn't held at the Tower of London, which would have been difficult to do this in. Instead, he's being held captive at Newgate Jail. And because of his rank, he was given a chamber that was in the inner part of the Newgate prison manager's house. So it was a room that was cut off from an exit, but it was still connected to the jail, and he was still under house arrest. Well, Dorothy starts turning up for visits, right, with her maid, because women didn't go anywhere unaccompanied. But notice how she didn't have a maid when she, She turns up a few times, and they, get used to her and her maid. But then one day she comes in during a rush, right? There's a bunch of people coming in and out. She manages to sneak by. She's by herself. She gets in to see her brother. She's got, concealed under her skirts, the fake key that her friend had been making this whole time, and the outfit for her maid. She then passes it off to her brother. Her brother then dresses up as the maid. They get out. Dorothy disappears. And Thomas manages to escape and get to a place where she can keep him hidden, where there are friends to conceal him. He flees to France. She goes home and has a fake funeral for her brother where she puts a casket in their common vault for their family that is filled with sawdust. Oh, boo-hoo-hoo, my poor brother, he has died, and his attempt to flee. It didn't work. Everyone knew where he actually was because he actually fled to hook up with another party of rebellious people. You see, he was on the payroll of the Great Pretender. Yeah, the Great Pretender. The guy who really wanted the crown. And he remained on that guy's payroll till he actually did die. He actually participated in trying to foment the Monmouth Rebellion. Yeah, he couldn't stop. He just really wanted the king out of there. It didn't matter who he was. Just get rid of him. But he really wasn't that great of a guy. He was kind of a wishy-washy, cowardly, weak-jawed, kind of flabby-looking dude. The only reason he lived that long was because of Dorothy. Now, whether or not this story is true, is a little bit lost to time. We've got many accounts we've compiled together to create this tale of Dorothy. But it was significant enough in the common folklore that an author named Besant, who's a very famous author, decided to write a book about Dorothy called Dorothy Forster. It is, of course, a romanticized tale, a fictionalized version of this escape that makes Dorothy out to be the badass that I firmly believe she is. So if you want to read the fictionalized account, it does still exist. Keep in mind, it's a fairly old book, so it'll sound that way. You guys ever read The Scarlet Pimpernel? It's kind of like that. It's like a period adventure. Right, okay. Anyway, that's some history for you. Why was that in my brain? Don't ask me, I don't know. Why do I know these things? I don't know. I wish I could make sense of this, but I cannot. My brain just holds on to extraneous information and catalogs it. You got to understand. Look, when I was a little bitty kid, my mom, who was a teacher, decided to start looking into neurolinguistic programming, which is what mentalists use. Right. She taught me a bunch of the memory exercises when I was a wee little babe, and they work. And ever since then, you see, I've got this librarian in my head that organizes all of my information in a very complex series of filing cabinets. Okay? Her name is Cynthia. She wears a bun. And she's very prudish. And if I want a memory out of Cynthia, I have to explain to her exactly why I want the memory. And then she will, of course, go and find it for me, much like an AI librarian. And then she will, with a look on her face, plop it down in front of me and say, "This is the thing you wanted. Is there anything else I can get you today?" And I'm like, "No, Cynthia, I don't want to take any more of your time. Thank you so much for helping me with this." But it doesn't fail. Every single time, that memory is there when I need it. The problem is my brain doesn't necessarily think certain things are important. So the things that other people might hold on to, like, for example, an exact date or time, my brain's like, that's not important information because you could literally get that from any encyclopedia. You're just here to talk about you just want to know about the oomph behind it. You just want to know about the social dynamics. You don't care about the dates and time. Yeah, it's around that time. Who cares? So my brain doesn't like to record that kind of information. So getting it out of Cynthia is it's a meditative process. My subconscious has it in there somewhere. I just have to find it. It doesn't always come out when I want it to. I'll be in the shower 6 days later, and all of a sudden, the date, time, name, whatever will come to me, and I'll be like, "God damn it, Cynthia! Why couldn't you have been more timely? I could have won that free beer!" Cynthia's been very helpful. Back when radio competitions were a thing, I won all of them all the time. I could be on Jeopardy. I won't be. I knew a guy who was on Jeopardy, and he was a pretentious fuckwit. Anyway, this has been long enough, and I've been rambling a bit, but you did kind of ask a general open-ended question. There's so much history. How was I supposed to know?